Imagine for a moment that the world around you is falling apart. People are shouting and deadlines are crashing down. Most people in this situation would feel their hearts racing. They would feel a wave of panic, and their thinking would become cloudy. But what if you were the one person who remained perfectly still? What if your mind was as clear as a mountain lake? This is not a dream or a lucky personality trait. It is a specific skill that you can build from the inside out. The difference between those who thrive and those who crumble is simple. It is the ability to master your own internal state. Every day, millions of people are hijacked by their own minds. They wake up feeling anxious about the hours ahead. They react emotionally to every small problem. By the end of the day, they are physically and mentally exhausted. They believe that this stress is a normal part of life. But the truth is that calmness is a trainable ability. When you master this skill, your entire life begins to shift. Your relationships improve because you stop reacting and start responding. Your performance at work reaches new heights because anxiety no longer clouds your vision. People are naturally drawn to those who stay centered in the middle of chaos. Welcome to Elite Summaries, where we turn deep wisdom into your personal edge. If you want to join a community of people dedicated to growth, please subscribe. We focus on tools that help you master your mind and your life. Today we are diving into the complete science of mental serenity. We will explore how to build a mind that is truly unshakable. This is an educational journey designed to help you thrive in any storm. We must first understand the high price of a chaotic mind. Mental chaos is one of the most expensive problems you will ever face. It costs you your health and your professional success. When your mind is in chaos, your brain activates the survival system. This is known as the sympathetic nervous system. Your amygdala acts as an alarm and floods your body with stress hormones. These chemicals were meant to help our ancestors run from wild animals, but today they activate for simple emails and traffic jams. When this happens, your logical brain literally shuts down. You become biologically incapable of making good decisions. Your memory suffers and your immune system weakens. Research shows that people who cannot manage this state earn significantly less over time. In your relationships, this internal noise leads to constant conflict. You start to see threats where there are none. You push away the people you love because you are reacting to your own inner storm. Most people accept this as a normal part of being an adult. They think that being successful means being stressed. But the world's elite performers know the opposite is true. Surgeons and fighter pilots train their minds to stay calm under extreme pressure. They know the clarity comes from stillness and not from chaos. The most important thing to learn is that your brain is not fixed. Scientists used to think that the adult brain could not change. We now know this is completely false because of neuroplasticity. Your brain is constantly rewiring itself based on how you use it. Every thought you repeat is carving a trail in your mind. If you practice anxiety, you build a highway for stress. But you can choose to build a highway for calmness instead. Your brain reinforces the patterns that you use the most. This happens through a process called myelination, which makes signals travel faster. After just 8 weeks of practice, brain scans show physical changes. The fear center of the brain actually shrinks in size. The part of the brain responsible for logic and focus becomes stronger. You do not need to be a monk to see these results. Just 20 minutes of daily practice can shift your biology. When you are calm, your heart rate slows and your muscles release tension. Your entire nervous system begins to work in harmony. You gain access to a state called flow, where solutions appear effortlessly. Your brain is looking to you for guidance every second. Through your breath and your thoughts, you tell your brain if it is safe. You might be surprised to learn that many people are addicted to anxiety. Your brain seeks out patterns that feel familiar, even if they are painful. If you grew up in a stressful home, your brain associates chaos with safety. This is why some people sabotage their own peace. They feel uncomfortable when things are going too well. They create drama because their system expects turbulence. Stress releases a cocktail of chemicals that create a biochemical high. Modern culture and social media feed this addiction every day. Every notification is a tiny hit of intensity for your brain. Many high achievers wear their stress like a badge of honor. They fear that losing their anxiety will make them lose their edge. But the data shows that calm people outperform anxious people in every field. Breaking this addiction starts with simple awareness. You must notice when you're creating unnecessary crisis in your life. Your mind is naturally programmed to focus on problems to help you survive. But in the modern world, this creates a chronic state of tension. You must learn to stop future tripping and worrying about things that may never happen. True peace can only be found in the present moment. All psychological suffering comes from mental time travel. Your mind replays the past to find blame or regret. It projects into the future to imagine worst-case scenarios. But anxiety cannot exist in the now because it is always about the future. Regret cannot exist in the now because it is always about the past. When you are fully present, you stop fighting reality and start working with it. Your breath is your most reliable tool to return to the present. It is the bridge between your mind and your body. When you are stressed, your breath becomes shallow and rapid. This tells your brain that you are in immediate danger. By slowing your breath, you signal to your system that you are safe. One of the most powerful tools is the 4-7-8 technique. You inhale for 4 seconds and hold for 7. Then you exhale slowly for 8 seconds. This long exhale activates the vagus nerve and calms you in under a minute. You can also use your body to ground yourself. Feel the pressure of your feet on the floor. Notice the sounds around you without judging them. This simple act of noting breaks the cycle of anxious thinking. You must also learn that you are not your emotions. Most people believe they are an angry person or a depressed person. But you are the awareness that observes the emotion. Think of your mind as a vast sky and your emotions as the weather. The weather changes, but the sky remains still and deep. When you observe your feelings, you create a vital space. This space is where your power to choose lives. Instead of reacting, you can acknowledge the feeling and let it pass. A great technique is to name your emotions with precision. Instead of saying you are stressed, identify that you feel overwhelmed. This activates the logical part of your brain and reduces the emotional intensity. You can use the RAIN method to master any feeling. Recognize the emotion and allow it to be there. Investigate it with curiosity and remember that it does not define you. Most people try to push pain away, which only makes it stronger. Acceptance creates the room for the emotion to move through you naturally. Pain is often inevitable, but suffering is optional. Suffering is the story you tell yourself about the pain. Your thoughts are not always facts. The average person has thousands of repetitive and negative thoughts every day. Cognitive alchemy is the art of transforming these thoughts into peace. You must learn to watch your mind like a scientist studying data. Labeling your thoughts as worrying or planning can take away their power. When your mind starts to race, use the 5-4-3-2-1 technique. Identify things you can see and hear and touch in your immediate environment. This grounds you in sensory reality and stops the mental spin. You should also look for cognitive distortions in your thinking. Your brain might be catastrophizing or using all or nothing logic. Challenge these stories by asking if they are absolutely true. Reframe your challenges as opportunities for growth. A difficult situation might just be a redirection toward something better. You can even set a worry window to contain your anxious thoughts to 15 minutes a day. This keeps them from dominating your entire life. Building immunity to stress requires controlled exposure. This is a principle called stress inoculation. Well, if you avoid all stress, you become fragile and easily overwhelmed. But small doses of stress can actually strengthen your system. Cold exposure is one of the most effective ways to train your nerves. Now, when you step into a cold shower, your system panics. If you can stay calm and breathe through it, you are building resilience. You are teaching your brain that you can handle discomfort. Now, this training carries over into your real-life challenges. Physical exercise and public speaking also build this mental muscle. The goal is to gradually expand your comfort zone. And you must view these moments as training and not as suffering. Always include a recovery phase after you face a stressor. This teaches your nervous system to return to a baseline of calm quickly. You can even use visualization to practice staying calm in difficult scenes. Your brain treats vivid mental rehearsal as if it were a real experience. Maintaining peace around difficult people is the ultimate test. You must understand that other people's hostility is a projection of their own pain. A person who is at peace does not attack others. When you realize this, you can respond with compassion instead of reaction. You should also learn to set energetic boundaries. Anxious people radiate anxiety, and you can absorb it if you are not careful. Use the gray rock method with people who thrive on drama. Become as boring and unresponsive as possible until they lose interest. Always pause before responding to a trigger to avoid regret. Active listening can often turn a hostile person into an ally. Use the broken record technique to maintain your boundaries without conflict. Simply repeat your position calmly until it is accepted. You can love and support people without taking responsibility for their emotions. This is called compassionate detachment. You only have control over your own responses, and that is where your freedom lies. In moments of actual crisis, you need emergency protocols. The first 60 seconds are the most important part of any emergency. Most people waste this time in shock or panic. Use the stop technique to access your higher brain. Stop what you are doing and take a deep breath. Observe the situation and then proceed with a choice. If your body is flooded with stress, use a physical reset. Splash cold water on your face to slow your heart rate instantly. Use the 24-hour rule before making any major decisions. This gives your nervous system time to process the shock. You can also use the worst-case scenario technique. Ask yourself what the absolute worst outcome could be and how you would handle it. Usually, the reality is much more manageable than the fear. Imagine yourself as a lighthouse standing strong in a storm. The waves are temporary, but you are permanent and unshakable. Always have a support system ready so you know exactly who to call in a crisis. Unshakable peace is built through your daily architecture. It is the result of small habits that compound over time. Your morning routine sets the tone for your entire day. Most people start their day by checking their phones and entering a reactive state. Instead, you should devote the first 30 minutes to your own mind. Start with conscious breathing and set an intention for the day. Even 10 minutes of meditation can change your brain's stress response. Keep a gratitude journal to train your mind to look for what is working. Your evening routine is just as vital for building resilience. Protect your attention by setting digital boundaries and turning off notifications. Your attention is your most valuable resource, and you must guard it. Use micro practices throughout the day, like taking 3 breaths at a red light. Manage your energy by scheduling difficult tasks when you are most focused. Reflect at the end of each day to see what triggered your stress. This builds the self-awareness needed for long-term growth. As you advance, you can train your mind for high-pressure situations. This is the level where you stay centered when the stakes are high. Use visualization to see yourself succeeding in stressful environments. Detailed mental rehearsal prepares your nerves for the real event. Use tactical breathing to keep your heart rate down during a challenge. Reframe the pressure as an opportunity to show what you can do. This changes the way your brain interprets the stress signals. You can even create an anchor gesture that triggers a calm state instantly. Practice single-pointed attention to enter the zone or flow state. Your body language also influences your internal state. Stand tall and use open postures to increase your confidence. Your physical stance sends signals to your brain that you are safe. Always prepare thoroughly and then release your attachment to the outcome. This combination of readiness and letting go is the key to peak performance. You must learn to transform difficult emotions into wisdom. Emotions are information and not instructions. Anger can tell you that a boundary has been crossed. You can use that energy to create positive change rather than destruction. Sadness can teach you about what you truly value in life. Fear can act as a compass, pointing toward areas where you need to grow. If you feel anxious, try reframing it as excitement. The physical symptoms are nearly identical, and only the story is different. Use your frustration as feedback to adjust your strategies. Use jealousy as a map to discover your own hidden desires. Guilt can be a teacher about your core values and integrity. Loneliness can motivate you to seek deeper and more authentic connections. This emotional alchemy allows you to honor your feelings while staying peaceful. It is a lifelong practice that requires patience and self-compassion. True confidence is the quiet knowing that you can handle anything. It is built on a foundation of self-mastery and honesty. You must identify the gap between your values and your actions. Confidence is eroded when you compromise your integrity. But every time you keep a promise to yourself, you build self-trust. Start with small commitments and honor them consistently. Real competence in your skills creates a confidence that cannot be faked. View failure as feedback and proof that you are pushing your limits. Master your boundaries to prove that you can protect your peace. Develop your intuition so you can trust your own decision-making. Self-compassion is the key to removing the inner critic that slows you down. Confidence is an inside job that does not depend on the approval of others. The ultimate goal of this journey is full integration. This is when calmness becomes your default way of being. You no longer have to try to stay calm because you have become peace. Your nervous system automatically regulates itself after a challenge. Your presence begins to affect everyone around you in a positive way. You become a source of stability for others during hard times. Decision-making becomes clear and effortless. You attract healthier relationships and set boundaries without conflict. Your physical health improves as your body spends more time in a healing state. You gain access to a level of creativity and intuition that was once hidden. You realize that the calm you were seeking was always your true nature. You have simply removed the obstacles of noise and reactivity. You are now unshakable because you know you can handle any storm with grace. Thank you for joining us at Elite Summaries. Stay centered and continue your path toward mastery.